Hey, Mean Matt here. So let's talk about this whole thing. Right now, there's a bunch of things actually to talk about. This whole cruiserweight championship WWE thing that's going on right now. I'm saying that a lot, aren't I? That's a good show. I know I've probably talked about it before. I think that it's actually awesome that the WWE has produced something that is a better product than its, Raw and SmackDown. But even Raw and SmackDown is starting to be interesting in its own way. I like I've said before. I think the SmackDown brand is gonna have its own WWE Universal Championship at WrestleMania. We're gonna find out who's better, Seth Rollins or Finn Balor. I was watching a cruiserweight championship match. It was pretty cool to see these guys. Tyson Dukes, who I met last Saturday at the Oshawa Music Hall, thought he wrestled for a different company, but when I talked to him, he had no idea what I was talking about. But he did say he wrestled for other promotions. Actually, he was on Team Canada when he was in TNA all those years ago. So he is there, or he was there. I guess he's eliminated now. I can't remember the Chinese guy's name. I'm not gonna. Well, he's the first Chinese professional wrestler I've ever seen. I know they have a lot of Chinese amateur wrestlers. He's the first that I've seen on TV. Japan is a lot of, obviously, very rich in wrestling, professional wrestling history. So it's refreshing to see somebody come from Hong Kong or whatever just to be there. And of course, I watched it last night, the WWE main event for the Cruiserweight Championship match was Tommaso Ciampa versus his tag team partner Johnny Gargano. It was probably one of the best matches I've ever seen in a while for WWE. Oh my god. You almost thought they were going to break up because I've seen a lot of tag teams face each other before, and this match took it to the next level. It was the best I've seen so far, the best wrestling I've seen so far. And then, of course, SummerSlam, we got Dolph Ziggler versus Seth Rollins. No, Dolph Ziggler versus Dean Ambrose for the WWE Champion for Raw. So, there's this. The truth of Dolph Ziggler came on a show called Talking Smack, which is almost like breaking kayfabe because it's a talk real about everything. You got Brian Danielson. If nonetheless, okay. So here's the thing I just thought of now. If you have a show on the WWE network called Talking Smack where it's supposed to be real, then why not just say Brian Danielson? But anyways, it was him and Renee Young, and they were talking about the show that was prior. It was interesting because Brian said something that was like John Cena said one of the most insulting things that Brian could think of when, talking to AJ Styles, which was AJ Styles going on about how fucking if he loses to John Cena, then he's a free agent, he can go anywhere. But John Cena said that if he loses to AJ Styles, that he can fucking stay in WWE because he's loyal. And to Daniel Bryan, that was an insult. Basically, AJ Styles has a family to provide for, and if he were to lose, he'd go to another wrestling company to provide for his family. Whereas John Cena said that he would not do anything if he had to leave WWE or something along those lines. Which is true. I think John Cena is very passionate about what he does, but I think what he says sometimes he doesn't really think. But I'm thinking about SummerSlam. Dolph Ziggler was on a show, talking real, obviously, about, and it's true, seeing these guys that left, who never got a chance at the WWE or World Championship. Damian Sandow, Cody Rhodes, whoever else got fired, or whatever. And then you get someone like Dolph Ziggler, who, once upon a time, got the WWE World Champion, well, the old World Champion, which was the WCW Championship. And nowadays, you see Dolph Ziggler losing a lot of his matches, and he hypes himself up for a fail. So on the chat show, he said that there's gonna be no more of that shit, and he's gonna start winning his matches. Okay, well then, talk is cheap. If he beats Dean Ambrose at SummerSlam, I'll be pleasantly surprised. I don't know if that'll happen. It'll be interesting. Next week, for speaking of Cruiserweight Championship Wrestling, they're interesting enough. You're gonna see one of the matches, Cedric Alexander versus Kota Ibushi. Kota Ibushi, of course, being the guy from New Japan. New Japan, I've tried to get into for a long time. Was never on TV, and no, I don't watch a lot of these shows on the internet, which I probably should have. They do Fighting Spirit Wrestling, where there's IWGP and New Japan, or All Japan, and then you have CMLL/AAA Wrestling. So it's cool. I see it that way. But yeah, you get to see him versus Cedric Alexander, who, of course, was on Ring of Honor. It's cool to actually see him at this kind of show. But also watching TNA and seeing the debut of Bobby Roode. And I just knew there was going to be a heel Bobby Roode. He came out, at first, and almost like he had pulled a pipe bomb, because he was praising the fans and being cool, and it switched it up, and all of a sudden It's a heel turn. So that's fine. I mean, he's, you have that guy now. I can't remember exactly what he's calling himself, but he's finally at NXT, and he made mention, or somebody made mention, that one of the guys at ringside mentioned the fact that he didn't come out flatly and say TNA, but he said Bobby Roode knew the likes of AJ Styles, and of course you had Eric Young, who was in a match for for NXT, and that was pretty cool to actually hear that, because you don't understand that TNA isn't like WCW, where it's never mentioned on WWE TV. You know, just the way it is. It's cool to see Bobby Roode. It's also cool to see Kenta back in wrestling, um, back at WWE NXT, to see him shine again, and to know that he's in with Shinsuke Nakamura and now Kota Ibushi back from All Japan, New Japan, IWGP. So it's cool to see that. It's cool to see that the authentic Japanese, not the Japanese American, the authentic Japanese guys who are coming in and kicking ass with the strong style. It's really cool to see that. Um, Not to say that the American or the Canadian wrestlers are not strong style. Some of them are. Just look at the match a few nights ago with Ciampa and Gargano. Fuck, that was awesome. Anyways, that's it for me. Yeah, that's it for me. Bye.